Howdy, so glad to have you back here for another edition of Daily Scone. I tell you every day, you subscribe, you rate us, and I'll post something every day. And I'm so grateful for the audience and for you for continuing to come back and to hit play and to listen to this podcast and my random musings and sometimes thoughts on media. Anyway, today something happened that I absolutely wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about, and I figured this was a good platform to do it. Longtime WAFB news anchor, WAFB-TV in Baton Rouge, news anchor Donna Britt announced that she is retiring from WAFB after 37 years. For those that don't know, Donna is battling ALS, which she announced earlier this year. And she actually stepped down from her duties anchoring the news at the 10 o'clock news. And Elizabeth Vowell took over those duties and has done a phenomenal job. But Donna Britt stayed certainly involved at WAFB, but she's announced her retirement. There's a couple of experiences that I've had with Donna that our radio station is directly across the street from WAFB television. So there's been plenty of instances where if there was a sports story or certain instances where they might have needed some input, they've just asked me to walk across the street. I got a good relationship with Steve Schneider and Jacques Doucet, the sports director, Steve, and then, of course, Jacques, who's kind of the number two, the lieutenant there, and has been for a long time, since the early 2000s. And Rob Hayes, who's the news director at WAFB. So we've got a great working relationship with them. So I've just happened to be at WFB an awful lot over the years. But there's a couple of times, and so I've crossed paths with Donna so many times, and she's just such a professional woman in every sense of the word as a broadcaster, but also just a very nice person, and has always been so generous and so gracious to me. And there's one story in particular that I wanted to share. This would have been 2 summers ago. So this would have been the summer of 2016. And it just so happened that Steve Schneider and Jacques Doucet were they both had scheduled vacation at the same time. And it was a random occurrence where the number 3 sports guy at WAFB had suddenly left. And so even though Steve and Jacques both had vacation planned, they didn't have anybody to anchor the sports. And so Rob Hayes, the news director over at WFB, called me and asked, said, "Matt, look, we're kind of in a bind. Do you think you could do it?" I was like, "Sure." I mean, my degree was in print journalism, but I did plenty of. I've done plenty on camera. I've done plenty of. It was not a problem, and don't misunderstand me. I wasn't cobbling together a newscast. They had their production assistants edit the video and pull video and sound and write scripts. So basically, I had to show up and read the script. Now, I edited the cast and the script, but as far as everything else, it was not labor intensive. So please don't misunderstand that I'm saying like I did the job. I basically showed up and stood in front of the camera and read the teleprompter. But one was a funny sort of motherly moment from Donna. And the other was just a very kind compliment. The motherly moment was of course, being a radio guy, I don't wear makeup. You don't wear makeup on radio. And my radio show is now televised, so I do wear a matting cream to prevent the glare on my forehead and my face. But of course, in TV, like you've got to wear powder because they're just very bright lights that are shining on you. You don't want glare on your face or your head because they can be very distracting for the audience. Well, I didn't know this, so I go in to go do the first newscast, and I was doing 6 and 10. So at 6 o'clock, I didn't know, and of course my face is glaring. Well, I'm coming back for 10 o'clock, and I'm about to go on. We're off set, and Donna Britt says, "Hold on," and she goes and runs down the hall, and she comes back, and she's got her powder. And there is a picture of this that exists. And so Donna Britt, this Baton Rouge TV icon, is powdering my face like a mother that would lick her thumb to wipe chocolate off of her child's face or something like that. It was a funny moment. I'm glad we got a picture of it. But I was very grateful actually because she was just very aware that I was new and out of my element in that regard, and that was a detail in television that matters. And when you pay attention to details, and you don't let things like that slip. That's how you get to be really good, because when little things like that matter, it leaves an impression, and Donna certainly did. And so I mentioned that was a funny story. I need to share that picture, and I'll find it and I'll share it on my social media. I'm standing there in a tie. I have my jacket over my arm, as I recall, and Donna, who's probably about 6 or 7 inches shorter than me, is like reaching up, like just powdering my face. But the other was just a very classy professional moment. After I finished anchoring the newscast that night, of course, the sports is the last block, so it's basically anchor sports, and then there's everyone at the desk to to do the farewell, and the sports anchor doesn't typically say anything in that, or at least I wasn't going to step on anybody in that moment. I was just shutting up. But I walked over to do the final shot, the farewell, where they tease what's coming up, and we're in the break and we're about to come out, and Donna she looked at me and she says, "You were great. Like, you need to do this job." And she meant obviously the number 3 job, which was open. It kind of like as if that were an audition. Now I don't know that she knew of my radio show, and it really doesn't matter. I'm thrilled to be in radio, and I don't really have a desire to be in TV news. But it was just, it was very, for me, it was a great example set by someone who has, look, when you sat at that desk, at WAFB, which has been, the leader in our city for a long time, and you sat at that desk, the anchor desk, for as long as Donna Britt has. She's worked with a lot of different people. News anchors, reporters that come and go, cub reporters that end up jumping to different markets, sports anchor. She's worked with a lot of people. And she's well established in her career and her profession, that if she wanted to, she didn't have to make mention of anything of me, and certainly didn't have to compliment me. But it was, I think anybody likes to feel appreciated and feel like they did a good job. And for somebody, what I would, if you wanted like a comparative analysis to sports, it would be like if on the first day of mini camp or training camp, Peyton Manning took time to tell the undrafted rookie free agent receiver, "Hey man, that was a really nice cut on that 10-yard out. Good job, keep it up." Like, think about what that would mean for that guy, that undrafted rookie who's like, do I really belong here? And here's this Hall of Famer noticing a little thing that I did and actually taking a minute of his day to compliment me. Like, think about what that could do for someone's self-esteem. I mean, it's 2 years later, and I'm still talking about that now. But that's Donna Britt, and she's, as I mentioned, she's battling ALS, which is a miserable disease, and it's, the timing is coincidental, because this week, of course, 49ers legend Dwight Clark died at 61 years old. He battled ALS. And I think anybody listening to this knows of someone, if not personally, certainly, outside of maybe your personal circle, that have dealt with ALS. I won't mention a name, but someone within our Guarantee family, just in the last, just this past fall, died of ALS. And of course, everyone's familiar with Steve Gleason and his fight for not only his fight that he deals with physically every day, but also his fight for rights of ALS patients to improve the quality of life for people with ALS. But for Donna Britt, a professional salute for a job well done over parts of 4 decades at WAFB, but also a sincere thank you for being a wonderful person and role model, and for taking the time to notice the little things in people, and to be complimentary, because it It certainly went a long way for me, and I'm guessing over the course of the nearly 40 years at WAFB, there were many, 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 many similar instances that that Donna had with other people, certainly far more accomplished than me, but maybe even people just starting out, and it mattered. So a sincere thank you to Donna Britt. Congratulations on an awesome career, and continued prayers for you in your fight with ALS. God bless Donna Britt. Until next time, Daily Scone.